a small village surrounded by lush green fields, there lived a young man named Ravi. He had inherited his father's profession and spent his days laying bricks, constructing houses, and repairing old walls. Though he worked hard, he often felt frustrated. No matter how much effort he put in, life never seemed to improve. One afternoon, as the scorching sun beat down, Ravi wiped his sweat and stared at the half-built wall in front of him. He sighed deeply. Just then, an old wise man passing by stopped and observed him. "You look troubled, young man," the old man said. Ravi replied, "I work hard every day, yet I feel stuck. I want to build something grand, but my dreams seem impossible." The old man smiled. "Tell me, Ravi, how do you build a wall?" Ravi frowned. "By laying bricks, one by one." "Exactly," the old man said. "Yet you worry about the entire wall instead of focusing on placing one perfect brick at a time." Ravi listened carefully as the old man continued. "Life is no different. If you make every small step perfect, you'll eventually build something great." That night, Ravi reflected on the old man's words. From the next day, instead of feeling overwhelmed by the big picture, he focused on laying each brick with precision and care. A change in mindset. Weeks passed, and something incredible happened. Ravi's work improved. His walls were stronger, his houses sturdier, and people began noticing his skill. Instead of worrying about success, he gave his best to each task. One day, a wealthy merchant visited the village, looking for a mason to build his mansion. The villagers highly recommended Ravi. The merchant asked, "Can you build me the finest house in this village?" Ravi, now wiser, smiled and said, "I cannot promise the finest house in one day, but I promise the finest bricks laid one at a time." Impressed, the merchant hired him. Over the next year, Ravi worked patiently, focusing only on the present brick. When the mansion was completed, it was the most beautiful structure in the village. News of Ravi's craftsmanship spread far and wide. Soon, people from neighboring towns came to hire him. He built more houses, temples, and even a school for village children. Years later, as Ravi stood in front of his greatest creation, a magnificent temple, he thought back to the old man's advice. Just then, he noticed a young boy struggling to build a small wall. Frustrated, the boy threw down his bricks and sighed. "I'll never be able to do this." Ravi smiled, placed a hand on his shoulder, and said, "Don't think about the whole wall. Just focus on laying one perfect brick. The rest will follow." The boy looked up, nodded, and picked up a brick. As Ravi watched, he realized the greatest lesson of his life success isn't about speed or shortcuts, but about doing small things right every single day.